Hey yo everybody, what's up? Tom here, back at you with another video. Well, here we are. What I'm doing today is I am trying to farm Rakiata's flow. It's gonna be amazing because my problem is these bosses, man, sometimes I think they might have pretty good lightning resistance, and I need to just get rid of that fucking lightning resistance. So, I was looking at the trade market earlier. It's like 20 div for one of those. And right now I'm sitting on what, 14? But I've got a lot of other currency I can liquidate. So I have at least 15 div right now. So best thing I can do is just keep farming. I've got the I need to roll maps. Fuck, okay. Once again, I'm just going to skip over the bullshit maps. Although I might not have too many non-bullshits at this point. And these are all going to be chilled ground. Okay. Man, I'm like just barely sustaining tier 15 maps right now. What the fuck? Oh, it's because I'm running all these lame maps. You know what? I'm doing these lame maps. I'm not even going to put any currency into these. I'm just running these bad boys as is. Yeah, I'm running these. No. Let's start with Augs here. Okay. Regal. We can afford Regals. I think I should just run them like this. I don't think I need to corrupt these. Alright, any bullshit? Oh, I missed one of these. Okay. So we're gonna put these over in T-Cob. Oh, I have some maps over here. Alright. Wait. And then don't I have some actually... Alright. Fuck it. These maps are good to go. I need to get a regex going. Right now I'm mainly just filtering out freeze and chill. Is there a PoE2 regex site? Can't reach this page. I'm gonna ask Discord. I feel like such an idiot sometimes. Oh, wait, no. Fuck that. I don't need a regex right now. I need to run maps. I need to farm Rakiata's flow tonight. So what am I looking for here? Delirium. Yeah, I've got 2 over here. Let's just put these in T-Cob. And by the way, if you're wondering T-Cob, well, if you're wondering, then I'm sorry that you don't know these things. It's taking care of business. I need to find something better, a better system though, because tablets, man. I just don't want to spend the time going through them. I need to roll them all with regex. That's what I need to do. But not right now. Right now, I'm just taking these kind of so-so maps. I'm going to take 5 of them. Okay. So that revealed all that, but I'm sticking to my original plan, going down over here. We've got a 3-tower fucking... We got a trinity. We got a fucking trio. We got a, yeah, a trio. Wait.
Hey nerds, what's up?
Perfect.
So at some of your guys' suggestion, I ended up reading A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms before starting my journey with A Feast for Crows.
Holy shit.
And let me tell you guys, I absolutely loved this collection of novellas. I ended up giving it a 4.5 because there was like one thing that bothered me about the second novella. But like it's close to a 5-star, like in my heart I think it is. I just fell in love with Dunk and Egg. Obviously they were fantastic characters. I particularly like how this book forwarded a lot of themes that were already in A Song of Ice and Fire, but maybe in a slightly more relieving way. In fact, I'm guessing the reason a lot of people wanted me to read this before Feast for Crows is assuming some things that are in here kind of appear in some way, but that's probably the real reason. The reason I like to think you guys want me to read this is because you want me to have a emotional from devastation.
Unique amethyst ring?
Wrought on me, because this was definitely like a lighter read. Obviously there was definitely some heavy themes in it, but Dunk and Egg were so likable and were just such easy protagonists to root for and love that it did just feel so much lighter, and that was nice. Overall, the first story was my favorite. I just loved seeing Dunk and Egg get to know each other, and really just that whole story from beginning to end was so perfect. Second story was my least favorite. I still really liked the themes that it put forward. The ending felt really rushed to me. It felt so sudden. I just didn't love how that played out. So the third story was my second favorite. Again, another, I mean, all of the stories were great. Really liked the themes. The first one just takes the cake a little bit for me. Overall, just, how could you not love Dunk? His want to be so noble and knightly and being so bold and brave, coupled with maybe not the most book smarts, but then he has Egg to kind of be that book smart there, but he's also like a young kid, prone to issues that young kids are prone to. Just fantastic overall. Anyway, today, instead of just doing a straightforward review of this book,
She nailed the dynamic there right and fucking so succinctly and accurately. That is exactly what's going on there, isn't it?
I instead wanted to explore some of the themes that I found in this novel that connect the larger series as a whole, and kind of talk about those and explore them and how I think they really are a great companion to A Song of Ice and Fire. Because of that, by nature, not only will I be spoiling A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms in full, I will also be talking about spoilers from the first 3 books of A Song of Ice and Fire, so A Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, and A Storm of Swords. So unfortunately, yes, I'll be kind of spoiling all 4 of those books, so if you haven't read one of them, you're gonna have to skip this review.
I want to use that for a campaign character, actually. That would be a cool item for a campaign character. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was that I really enjoyed getting the extra context and the extra history of the rebellions. It really helped further contextualize a lot of the events that happen in Song of Ice and Fire. It's not like I didn't understand them already, but that extra context about kind of the historical baggage that has come with it, I really enjoyed. For example, okay, let's go.
You know, we have this scene in A Storm of Swords where Catelyn tells Robb, like, you can't legitimize Jon. Like, remember what happened when King, oh gosh, all those kings' names run together. You know what I'm talking about. Legitimized all of his bastards, and look what happened. And yeah, I understood that. But now actually seeing it play out and how legitimizing them created all this strife, and getting to see that, actually hearing it in the Blackfire Rebellion, and how that caused all of these fractures and mistrust, and how Catelyn is speaking from that, really, I guess, just deepened why she would be so fearful of that. When, especially for me, when I was reading the book, it's just like, no, legitimize Jon, that's great. Like, it just recontextualized and kind of supported maybe why Catelyn would say something like that. It also really served to deepen the conflict as we see it in A Clash of Kings for me, to understand that this question of who is the rightful king has been simmering in Westeros for literally centuries, that this question has been posed again and again and again, and it's not this new conflict, but rather a resurgence of this conflict we have already seen play out. And I'm sorry, I don't know if my thoughts are fully formed here, so hopefully you can kind of understand where I'm going with this, but I was really thinking of Stannis and Robert and Renly, and how people view Stannis and Renly maybe being the more likable person who inspires loyalty, and Stannis being the one who, you know, has that right, has the sword, has the power that is following him, and what that means. And this was really put forward to me in something that Sir Eustace says in the second novella, and I'm gonna read the quote here. Daeron. Sir Eustace almost slurred the word, and Dunk realized he was half drunk. Daeron was spindly and round of shoulder, with a little belly that wobbled when he walked. Daemon stood straight and proud, and his stomach was flat and hard as an open shield. He could fight. With axe or lance or flail, he was as good as any knight I ever saw, but with a sword, he was the warrior himself. When Prince Daemon had Blackfire in his hand, there was not a man to equal him. Not Olaf Dane with Dawn, no, nor even the Dragon Knight with Dark Sister. Why, lad? You ask me why? Because Daemon was the better man. The old king saw it too. He gave the sword to Daemon. Blackfire, the sword of Aegon the Conqueror, the blade that every Targaryen king had wielded since the conquest. He put that sword in Daemon's hand the day he knighted him, a boy of 12. My father says that was because Daemon was a swordsman and Daeron never was, said Egg. Why give a horse to a man who cannot ride? The sword was not the kingdom, he says. The old knight's hand jerked so hard that wine spilled from his silver cup. Your father is a fool. And I just kept thinking of Renly versus Stannis in that phrase, like how he's comparing how they looked, how it made them feel. He wouldn't have given him the sword if he wasn't to be the rightful king. And just that conflict, like, it's such a mirror of the conflict that's happening in Clash of Kings. And I just love the deepening of that lore, and how hearing that history supports that this is just something that's always been happening, and what really is the right answer, especially as it's explored here. And it gave me this sense of melancholy, of a circle, right? It's just the same conflict happening again and again. Do we ever learn? Is there ever an answer? Hopefully that made sense. I would love to hear your thoughts on that connection, but I really liked it. Another theme I saw here that I really liked was something I'm calling the stories we tell ourselves. There's a lot of maybe miscommunication, misjudging, because of the way stories are framed in here. What other people have said or told, what lies or truths we tell ourselves and others. Once again, the biggest example of this could be found in the second novella with Lady Rohan and Sir Eustace, and how in the beginning we are on Sir Eustace's side. It seems like this other party has done this dam, stolen the water, and it's just so ridiculous, and you're gonna go fight him, and then we hear a completely different story told from the other side. And, you know, Sir Eustace having to reckon with the stories he has told himself over and over and over again to paint him in the light he wants to be painted in. And not that Lady Rohan hasn't done that as well to some degree. And we see this again and again. We see it with Sir Glendon in the third novella. And the story he has told himself, the story others have told him to, you know, make him feel the person he wants to be, he wants to feel like. And even with Dunk, right? I mean, in my interpretation of this, he wasn't knighted, right? I don't think Sir Arlen ever knighted Dunk before he died. It's why he's always kind of shifty about it, and why he refused to knight Raymond in the first story. It's a story he has told to align with, you know, how he sees himself and how he wants to see himself. And it got me thinking a lot of our characters from the main series, particularly
No,
Jamie.
never mind, those aren't
you guys
10.
watched
Those
my
are
Storm
vertebrae.
Swords review. You'll remember how my opinion changed so much
Those
on
might be like
Jamie,
one
and
each.
he's the perfect
Something
example
like that.
of we have seen Jamie through everybody else's eyes and everybody else's stories in the first 2 books.
I need,
and once
like,
we see Jamie tell his
150.
version of events or the story he tells himself, we feel very differently about this. And that is in so many characters. Think of the different
every little
stories
bit
that are
helps.
told when we look from Catelyn or Tyrion's perspective. Think of the different stories told from Sansa or Arya's perspective. We often tell ourselves the story that puts us in the right, that justifies ourselves. And when you're looking at these very complicated characters in the main series, that plays a large role in also how we can sympathize
Should I lower my
with these
item
people who
filter as
are
well?
making bad and incorrect decisions. The fact that we can sympathize with someone like Jamie,
know.
who I thought would be impossible for me to sympathize with after what we see him do at the beginning of the Game of Thrones.
Throwing
it's just
Bran out of a
telling, again,
window.
of these stories.
Trying to kill him.
And it's a little easier in Dunk and Egg because we're rooting so much for Dunk and Egg. They feel so much less complicated, in my opinion, than the main series. But I just love that theme of like the stories
where
we
am
tell
I going
ourselves,
here?
and if
Oh
we
my
could
God.
listen to the stories others would tell,
See,
how would
and
we
now,
feel differently about them?
I don't
And
know
another great example
if
of this
there's
in
a
Knights of the
checkpoint
Seven
close
Kingdoms
to that
is
or not.
Egg, when we have that whole conversation.
I gotta just run straight
about
to
like
it.
it's still a bastard in the sight of gods. It doesn't matter that he was legitimized, and no bastards have done anything good. And Dunk is like, well, I'm probably a bastard. And then like Egg has to wrestle with that. What is the truth and what are the stories you tell and others tell? And I just really liked that through line. Another thing I wanted to talk about here was about how little events snowball, almost like a butterfly effect, but not quite. Just that this whole book is how like the smallest little decisions keep snowballing to make things worse and bigger than they are. And I do think that's where one of the chief melancholies comes from this book. Why you can't say it's just like overall hunky-dory, even though it feels so much lighter and happier. Overall, the simmering undercurrent of the politics in this book, has that thing of like every decision creates this consequence. We see this a lot in the first story. We got Prince Baelor who chooses to defend Dunk, and by doing so, his brother accidentally kills him.
We're
and Baelor probably would have
just
been a
slowly
fantastic king.
picking stuff up.
Maker is probably a good king, but now is
gonna
completely
try
tinged
lowering my item
and
filter.
tainted by this event, other people's opinions of him, whether or not they know the true story, him having to deal with that within himself. Like, that is a big snowball
I need a
event
better
that,
item filter than
happens
just the
because of all
generic,
these little things. Sir Eustace's
never sing,
choices ultimately killed his
but it
entire
is what it
family.
is.
These little tiny choices that
Let's
he
get back
made
into the
along
map.
the way. And I think, honestly, the entire last story exemplifies this. All the little choices everyone made to be at this traitor's joust or whatever.
Nice
And when we look at the main
boss
story,
here.
it's the same way. Especially when we look at the Stark's entire storyline. We have, well, Ned didn't want to, but he agreed to be Robert's hand. And then Arya throws a rock at Joffrey. Sansa tells Cersei of the plans. Joffrey decides to cut Ned's head off when no one else wanted him to. Catelyn decides to kidnap Tyrion. Like, a lot of these decisions were spur of the moment. They weren't premeditated. They just were the snap decision that someone made in the moment, and look at how it snowballed to be where we are by the time we're in a Stone of Swords. And I just think with these shorter stories, you feel that a lot more keenly, because it's just a little bit more plain. And finally, I really like how these stories explored honor. Now, obviously, that's pretty straightforward. I just think it was interesting since kind of Ned was our honor character, right? He dies and the effects of that. It was kind of nice to see Dunk and Egg and how they have to deal with honor and, what is a knight?
Terrible.
What does that mean by
Guess they
birth
can't all be winners.
or by actions, by choice?
I feel like I
think it
just barely
exemplifies
break
kind of
even
that
with those
honor
things.
That's in the main trilogy, except just in like a little bit more lighthearted way, just because, again, we have so many choices.
Maybe I've hit
Take a
one
quick
divine.
break in this video to talk about today's sponsor. And you know that the sponsor has to be good since I rarely take sponsors. And today it's for Racemart Creative, which is a company known for making awesome deluxe editions
Maybe I just
of
alked this thing?
beloved fantasy booktube books like
It's got the
Legends
rarity.
of Lattes and Sword of Kaigen. I actually backed the Wraithmark Creative Sword of
The thing
Kaigen
is, Quant is
Kickstarter
really good to
because
mix
I
with
loved it
rarity,
so
because
much.
then,
It
like,
is one of the most gorgeous books I own.
you just
and
basically
can
get
tell
another
the
chance
art.
at rolling
I mean,
at that high
look
rare
at that.
chance.
And so today I'm telling you guys about their current Kickstarter that's going on right now for the beloved series A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Right now they have the first book live on Kickstarter. I've talked about the Shades of Magic series before. You'll know that I didn't necessarily love how it ended, but that first book in the series is one of my very favorites. I've talked about it on some of my favorite world building videos and several other videos.
Good, we've got
as
a
well.
fucking shrine
I just love
at
that
the
first
Abyss.
book, and this edition looks incredible. Ravina Kai is doing the cover of the book as well as the full wrap illustration of the hardcover case. The dust jacket is additionally going to be embossed and foiled
Look at
with
that.
matching metal
I didn't see a
gilding on
single
the
enemy that
edges
entire
and
time.
an included ribbon bookmark. There will also be incredible full-color end sheets from Felix Ortiz, as well as a ton of other interior illustrations. More illustrations could also potentially be unlocked with stretch goals. And finally, the book has also been completely custom crafted from top to bottom. And of course, Schwab is going to sign every single book. So be sure to check out Wraithmark's campaign. I will link it below. The book looks incredible, and like I said, I purchased from Wraithmark Creative before, so I trust them to deliver on such a good project. So rush over, back it before it's too late. I'm very excited to see how that book turns out. Now, back to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Okay, real quick before we end here, I'm gonna be on my Sansa garbage again. You know, it's not like Sansa's not even my favorite character, but somehow I am in this position to defend her with my life. So, what I'm gonna say, if you absolutely love Dunk as a character, but you hate Sansa, well...
You might be sexist.
Dunk is significantly older than Sansa, and he believes in a lot of the same stuff as Sansa. Very black and white, kind of about honor and what's knightly. And to expand on this idea, Jimmy from the Fantasy Network has a whole thing that he talked to me about like this theory of how Sansa represents the reader. I don't know if he did a video about it. He did explain it during our recent Chatting with Nuts. I will try to find the timestamp for that below. But basically that Sansa represents us as readers because she is the one who is the most invested in the fantasy stories and knighthood and things turning out well. Jimmy explained it much better. But that's the thesis. And I was thinking about that while reading Dunk and Egg because I know a lot of fans love these novellas. And it's like, these novellas are the kind of things Sansa would be reading. These novellas are the kind of thing that Sansa would love. This is her vision of honor and knighthood. Yet we just don't give her any benefit of the doubt over that, huh? Just saying, before you hate her, you might think about it. Okay, and finally, last thing, I mean it this time, last thing before the conclusion. I want to talk a little bit about these stories being called prequels. I noticed after I read it that it said in the back that they're official prequel novellas. And at first I took real issue with the word prequel being used because it was used in a way that I wasn't used to, right? When you think of prequel, it's usually like a direct story that has to do with like the beginnings of older characters in the main series. Like, I guess when I think prequel, I'm thinking of New Spring from Wheel of Time, or I guess more recently, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes for Hunger Games, or like Bookshelf Bone Dust came out for Legends and Lattes. Well, my brain is just not going fast today. You kind of think of prequels that way, and this one I'm like, well, it takes place like a century before. Doesn't really have to do anything with the main characters in A Song of Ice and Fire. But the more distance I got from it, I actually appreciated it more and more as a prequel. Because I'm like, it is a prequel.
I was so close to leveling too.
It explains history that is alluded to in the main series, but because it expands
and I'm about
and
to start going into
so
juice maps
of the theming around the series. And in that way,
damn it.
Perhaps it is a better prequel than any prequel I've ever read, which I'll admit I am not like generally a huge prequel person. But this one, instead of relying on like a known character or known event, it instead reconceptualizes themes of the main series. And could there be any better prequel than that? It is so much more subtle. And then I just started really, really appreciating this and George R.R. Martin even more. So I just wanted to put those thoughts out there, kind of about prequels and how I guess this technically is a prequel, but I feel like it functions a little differently. Be interested on your thoughts on that one as well. Okay, this video feels very long for what is ultimately like a much shorter book than the others, but I just really loved it. It was a nice reprieve because I didn't feel like so emotionally eviscerated after reading it. These characters I could root for, and I know supposedly we're supposed to get more of these, like I'm obviously not holding my breath, but I loved these three. I thought they were perfect already. I didn't even need any more. And if you've read the series and you haven't read these, what are you waiting for? I'm sure most of you have, but just thought I'd say that. Also, how could I leave this video with not commenting on, are there no true knights among you? What a great quote. I really felt chills when I read it. Yeah, love these novellas. Would love to hear your guys' opinions on my thoughts on the theming of the novellas, kind of what you thought about them. And as always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. That is the best way to support me. And if you want to see what I'm currently reading, as well as
a lot.
Rants, you can check me out on Instagram at bookborn.reviews.
So I got to do this.
Bye.
Nice, we got Quant. Okay. I forgot I'm immune to freeze once in a while.
I do not dodge. I cure.
We got all 3 towers.
Yes.
Zest is a strange being indeed. Collect more otherworldly remnants.
Speak.
You did well in that excursion. Fine, fine.
You can regal these? Sure. I should be using perfects for these. I just realized. Okay. Enjoy it. It's kind of sad that you need this, to be honest. This is probably your only exalt that you're spending on this. Thank you. Okay. I don't mind running ritual, but I need to change my tree up if I'm gonna do that. No, I also need to do the boss for it if I'm gonna do that. When we're in here, we're looking up bosses. Oh. Is that good? Is that better than like average like rarity? Probably not, right? Oh, 13% quant, but only drop by map bosses. Oh, these all say only by map bosses. No, it doesn't. That just says rarity found of items in your map. Yeah. 3, fuck it. Let's not even bother with the 3s. Okay. And now delirium. I also want to think about maybe running tier 4 Zesht one more time. I gotta level up before I do that. $17. Perfect. Shouldn't have done this one. All right. Why does everything show up if I type in rarity?
Hey guys, it's Ange here, and today I'm going to bring you a helpful tip video to interact with this concept in a game. That's when you're going through the leveling part of the game and you're looking at all the So, first, regex. Vendor search is probably the first time you're going to interact with this concept in a game. That's when you're going through the leveling part of the game and you're looking at all the town vendors. So here are just 4 helpful regex for you, and I'll demonstrate it here in a second. But as you're leveling, I will say here's kind of the main easiest one is, let's just say you want to look at
example. So right now, so green is completed. This would be the next node. Okay. Now you can see the quest that I have is to complete, let's just say, 10 maps, and you just go for the completion. If you get like unlucky in the drop,
Really? I did that? Fuck me, dude. Fuck, I forgot I need to run those full mods. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. I forgot I need to run them with full mods. You do lower level maps with full mods. It's so simple. Shit. I wasn't thinking. That's so bad. Alright. I need some delirium in here. I should have had so many more good maps. Fuck me. These all should have been full up. So pissed about that. Okay, now I need to roll maps. And I forgot to corrupt those tablets. Oh, I don't know how I found a corrupted one then earlier. No, I don't need to roll maps. I have plenty of maps. I think I just need to instill some maps. But I think I should pay for emotions here.
I'll post it right away. help?
Being careful with the ones with 0 revives. Okay.
I like the green look, you know? Look at that. Look at that green glow.
There it is.
You're gonna do like a custom setup going on?
Like,
A Discord thing?
look at this.
Oh, look. Whoa, now I'm beyond purple. Holy crap. Let's turn
Wait, do you not have your own lighting in your room?
chill vibe. I had the window open, so I had the evening sun coming through the window. I gotta turn on my own light because I can't have you lighting. I can't have you lighting. This isn't happening.
Plus, I might just like randomly change this lighting in the middle just to screw with people.
Exactly. Well, whoa, hey, there you go. That's the hacker vibes right there. Let's see.
It's open, then it's green, and then it's else.
It's good. Whoa, that's bright, dude. Oh my god. That's egregious right there. We can't have that. My light on.
This is what I
down.
normally use.
My switch is down. Let me go put my switch up. Ooh, that's too bright though. That's daylight. Come on, we don't want daylight. What we want is here. Connect you Wi-Fi bulbs.
What do you use for your lighting?
Well, don't make fun of me, but the key light was too in my face, so I literally just have my ceiling fan as the light most of the time.
So I use 2 Elgato key lights, but I used to use them at like 15% facing at me, and it was still too bright.
What do you have now?
Like they're very bright.
Yeah.
I have the same 2 Elgato key lights, but they're set to about 75%, and they face the wall.
Oh.
They don't and they bounce off the wall. and it's no longer blinding, but I'm really well lit.
See, that's smart. I'll just order that because I've got all the Elgato set.
Oh, don't
now.
do that. That's so
Honestly, like,
stupid.
I have an arm that I'm gonna transfer over and all.
Wait
that.
a second. That's a terrible way to do it because that's why he looks terrible. He's being lit from the back. Oh my god, dude. He has these fancy lights and he's using them in the worst possible way. And Talkative Try is just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get those and try that.
Maybe I'll just do that. Those seem nice.
Because they even at 10 or 15%, they're like quite bright when they're facing at your eyes.
Right. Yeah, it's too much.
But as long as the wall behind you is white,
Yeah.
then you can just face them at the wall and turn it up and just have it bounce and it floods the whole room in good light without shining it into your eyeballs.
That's a good idea because I would stream for a few hours and by the end of it, my eyes would be dead. So
Yeah.
that's good piece of advice. That's good. Apparently your audio is hit and miss. He looks great. He sounds great. Sorry. You
What
look great
hit me?
too, but you sound great. What are you guys talking about? His audio looks fine to me. Twitch?
Oh my
Is
god,
YouTube
that's
just
the
being
guy with the
whiny?
reflect.
Is it cutting in and out, or is it just bad quality?
I got killed
Hit
to
and miss.
reflect.
Please fix Valor Mage audio. The audio keeps cutting out.
Can't
Okay,
believe I
that's
just
me,
got killed
not
to
you.
fucking
You thought
reflect.
It was a bit. So apparently it is real.
Hold on,
Sorry, chat.
hold on. That's me.
Okay, go for it.
Let me.
Cuts off at the peak. Yeah, make sure you're using the right mic. I made that mistake.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna hit level 93.
Because all your voices sound great.
And I fucked up on this tower setup. I'm so pissed.
Come on back. Oh, I'm not wearing my Hawaiian shirt.
Smoke and automatic sensitivity should be about there.
I've got
That
you in
should
the
be
yellow.
able to.
Okay. All right, let's give it a test. 1, 2, 3.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Looks great to
Is
me,
that a bit
guys.
better, chat?
What do you guys think? It's fine. They're capping. Somebody wants you to unbutton your shirt more.
They're actually 100% correct.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what you're doing. You just got up. That's the thing. You know, when you go to sleep with your Hawaiian shirt on, you button it up, and then when you get up, you just take a few buttons off and you're good to go, right? Got a
No,
free.
no, you want to know what the worst it is? I didn't just wake up.
Oh, you
I
did?
woke up about 45 minutes ago to an alarm, and I spent a little while going, why have I set this alarm? And then another alarm went off about 10 minutes before you messaged me, which was the one I had set to remind me to come over to the computer. And my brain still wasn't working yet, and I just couldn't work out what the alarm was. So I was still just lying there in bed going, why have I set these alarms?
Yeah, right. He was
How
fucking
early is it?
gooning,
Until I
man.
saw a message from you.
Oh, see? Good thing.
It's not even that.
Okay. We were...
I just couldn't remember what the alarms were for.
Okay. Okay. I was in a good mood because at 8:20, so like 3 minutes before we were supposed to start, I did a Jade Isle for the first time and I got a Rakiata flow. So I like doubled my entire, like not doubled, tripled, quadrupled my entire wealth just with one
I don't know
drop.
what that one is.
It's the inversion of elemental resistances, lineage support.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, did he say he got that?
Oh, I like doubled my entire, like.
The alarms were for.
Okay. Okay. I was in a good mood because at 8:20, so like 3 minutes before we were supposed to start, I did a Jade Isle for the first time and I got a Rakiata's flow. So I like doubled my entire, like not doubled, tripled, quadrupled my entire wealth just with one
I don't know
drop.
what that one is.
It's the inversion of elemental resistances.
God damn it. I'm
Lineage
so
support.
jealous.
Oh,
I
good.
want that.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna sell that.
Like,
What? You should
I
use
just feel like
that.
I'm never gonna remember them games.
You
Yeah,
do
like, I got a bunch
elemental
of unique
damage.
names, so it's gonna be tough to remember them all, especially if they keep adding.
You've been replying to some chats that are not Twitch chat. Are we on YouTube as well?
Oh, we're on
But
YouTube.
Without
We have
chats?
we have way more people on YouTube. This is par for the course. We have people between 2 and 3x the number of people on YouTube. Yeah, if you
What?
want to open YouTube. Yeah, dude. I think we got like.
I stream to both places all the time, and I'll have 400 on Twitch and 25 on YouTube.
We've
don't make
got
I need to
videos.
find out what you're doing.
We've got
It's magic against people on YouTube.
350 people live on YouTube right now. And when you unbutton your shirt, it went up to like, there's a spike. I see a spike in the YouTube viewership. Like people saw the thumbnail of the Balor made chest and they're like, oh my god, we're coming in.
The difference is where I'm doing it, I've got both the chats together.
You do? Okay. I do too.
You can.
I have them right here.
Well,
In my
no,
stream software.
I have them like so that chat can see both chats.
Oh, I usually have that too. I have the chats combined. Just they're not on screen right now, obviously. Oh, are you talking about on Twitch? Like
Yeah.
you? Oh,
In
is that a
chat
thing?
on Twitch.
Oh, I did
the
not
YouTube
know that.
messages come through on Twitch, and the Twitch messages come through on YouTube, so that they're all part of the same chat.
Really? Oh, that's curious. I gotta check that out. Is that Stream Elements or Stream Labs? What is that?
It's Restream.
Stream Labs has to have that because I use Restream and I just wasn't impressed. It pissed me off to keep it.
Oh no, I hate Restream, so I stopped using it. I only use the chat function of Restream. I'm not using the rest of the website.
Oh, you're not? Oh.
I'm just using the chat bot that can the cross chat. That's it.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to do that because yeah, YouTube chat is very active. So is Twitch chat. So that'd be really nice. So they can see each other. I like that. So, all right. Yeah, I think we're good to go. One person is saying they're hearing every 10th word, but I think that's on you, bro, because all the audio looks good on my end, and everybody would be attacking if that was the case. So I think we're set. I can probably center you a little bit more. I didn't even think about that.
This is an amazing breach. Holy shit.
The intro, and we'll get started. Chat for about an hour about some Halloween too. Hopefully we've been having a good time. I've been having a good time. Properly addicted.
Whoa, dude.
Later on, I'm gonna have
That was
to
the
bully
best
you
breach
about
I've
how
ever
you
had in
got
my
your,
life. Wait,
YouTube
15?
streams set up because
Oh.
I swear, mine is like a fifth
Okay.
or maybe even a 10th of the viewer.
All right, yeah.
Like,
we can chat about it. I have some secrets up my sleeve, you know. So, chat about that.
Your gate is screwing up the audio a bit.
My gate.
That might be the gate on your OBS.
I don't have a gate on your audio. Nope.
That would be weird. It could just be my overall volume is low.
Yeah, I don't have any filters on my audio, so and I've changed no settings, guys. I think I can.
I've got it on.
Whoa.
How's that? I'm slightly deeper and louder.
Oh, you're much deeper. Maybe I'm gonna lower you a little bit. You're going into the red on your. Okay. All right. I think we're good. One person in the chat upset. I hope that's better. I hope that's better for you, my friend. All right. Stupid intro time. Stupid intro. Yeah. Okay. All right. God, I wish I was still sick. Ignore that, man. All of you I love equally, so chill out, guys. Come on, I don't ignore anybody, including trolls. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Still Sane podcast. I am your host, Talkative Try, and I have with me the legendary PoE1 content creator and Path of Exile 2 tourist, Balor Mage. Balor, what have you been playing in 0.3 so far, and how are you doing today, my friend?
First of all, perfect intro. Love it. I've been playing minions again, obviously, because I restart everything as minions. But this is the first time it felt good in PoE 2. Like, it's significantly better now. I wouldn't say they've like 100% nailed it, but they got rid of like a lot of the problems. Like, minions are significantly better than they were.
Okay.
Very happy about it. Only did my first reroll yesterday, so I'm on to character 2 now. That one didn't even make it through the campaign yesterday because I'm slow. So campaign is a 2-day journey. But yeah, that's the first reroll. I've been having a blast. I did every bit of content, unlocked every key, and did everything. So
Awesome.
Significantly better endgame too. Obviously, stuff left to change, but like the things they added to it, all fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. I am beyond addicted at this point, and I'm sacrificing my sleep. I still spend some time with my family, but I've been staying up till 2 a.m. on weeknights, and I really shouldn't because I'm starting to feel the effects and consuming more energy drinks. But it's worth it right now. Like, I'm having a blast here. Now, obviously, I'm playing Melee, which is far superior to Minion in every way, shape, or form in both PoE 1 and PoE 2. But since you're playing Minions and you really enjoyed it, I'm curious, what form of Minion are you playing? Because I tuned into your stream. I think at the end of day 1, I rated you, and I saw... Well, I didn't really see anything on your screen, if I'm being honest. So can you explain? Are you doing skellies, zombies, specters, the little bone things? What are you doing? I'm curious.
it's all specters. There are really only 3 specters in the entire game that are even usable, and one of them is significantly worse than the rest. The one that's significantly worse is Valguards. That's the one we used to use. It's the one we used last league. That's the worst visually and also the worst damage and the worst clear of all 3 of our options. So we got 2 new options this time. One of them is called Cocaine Ants. I actually can't remember what their real name is. Everybody calls them Cocaine Ants. I'm not playing that one. They're pretty good, but they excel in easy content. The easier as long as your minions can one-shot everything, then they clear faster than any other minion building in existence, right? Because they'll armor break and do a big armor break explosion and everything off a single hit, and they'll just mow through everything. But it only works when you're either super outgeared or doing very easy content.
Okay, so that's why Gazzy plays them. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, because it's either super outgeared or just doing Alk and Go content. But they're fantastic for that. They're way faster than what I'm doing in that level of content. And then I'm using one called Powered Zealots, which is essentially Spark.
Okay.
Except I have 11 of them. You can give them infinite pierce, and they bounce off walls, and they bounce off. They do the chaining off terrain thing by default because it's Spark, and it just does that, so it can hit the same mob multiple times, and it is the highest damage and highest clear.
That sounds
minion
cool
in
as
the game.
fuck.
It's fantastic, but it doesn't use our visual appearance of our casting arc, which would make it so much better to see, because our version of arc is like very unintrusive little lines that go everywhere. It's functionally the same skill, but they have their own MTX on it, which is this giant ball of lightning that still only does damage in the same area of arc that arc would normally. It's Spark, the same thing, but like it has this ball of lightning, and because I've got 11 of them, it does just make the whole screen blurry.
Right. Oh.
but they work really well. They're very, very strong.
Okay. And you said they improved minions from 0-1 and 0-2. I know in both those patches there was a lot of minion jank. Is that still present? Like the body blocking and all that crap. Is that still in the game, or is a lot of it removed?
You can technically still get body blocked by your minions now. However, I think in 2 weeks I've had that happen to me maybe 3 times total, and it used to be 8 times a map. Right? Like I've ran like Maya and Augury and things like that, and my minions can now get over the thin bridges with me.
That's nice.
So like that collision problem it still exists. They're still objects, but they seem to, and I don't have like confirmation of it, but just playing it and seeing what happens, right? Like I don't have like a dev telling me how they changed it, but it seems like they do a way better job of getting out of my way when I try and walk, even when we're on like really thin areas where they weren't able to get out of the way in the past. The other problem they used to have, which was not in the patch notes listed anywhere, is they used to just, if you move too quick or travel in a weird way, shield charge somewhere or anything, specters would just get stuck in wisp form, which is, so like, for anyone who's never played minions, if you travel far enough away from specters, what they do is they change into a little wisp, gain a bunch of movement speed, and like zoom towards you, and then reappear as the minion to do damage again. But they used to just get stuck as wisps all the time. And once they got bugged and stuck as wisps, they would stay where they were, and you had to go back and collect them. for them to turn into minions again. And it was very frustrating. That has not happened to me a single time this patch.
Oh, that's great.
They are not getting stuck as wisps anymore.
Terrible breach map.
The third problem they used to have is their clearing of trash was always terrible. We could always get enough overlapping damage to do bosses. In the last 2 leagues, we have seen like the first people killing bosses on day one in garbage gear are always minions. The people doing your carries on day one for like Trial of Sekima and whatnot are always minions. Because you can build very glass cannon, and on 0 gear, you can get more single target boss out of a minion build than you can out of any other build. When you're talking day one, no gear, no ability to scale, nothing, right? They've always had the highest, even though they're like awkward to play. Their boss damage was never really a huge issue, but they could never really clear properly. They just didn't, and I don't really know why, because you would think, oh, I have the greatest boss damage, I should be able to kill white mobs, but you couldn't. You couldn't. You'd watch minions hit white mobs 7, 8 times and not kill them. And then you'd get to a boss and kill it in 2.5 seconds, and you'd be like, where's that damage on my white mobs? I don't know. So I don't know what causes that, but they also gave us 50% more damage. That doesn't apply to bosses. So it's 50% more damage, but it will not apply to any unique mobs, bosses, things like that. So the boss damage stayed the same. We didn't get a buff. But 50% more damage to all the trash makes us able to actually clear things.
Yes.
So better in every way. Very happy about it.
That's what I'm talking
They
about.
sound a lot comfier now, almost to the level where I might try them.
That
At
is
some
what the
point.
fuck I'm
I
talking
might give them a
about.
go.
Oh,
I mean, they look
finally.
really cool. Do you think a Triceratops build would work, or do you think that would never?
I want it to. Not yet. They're not good enough.
Dang. How many can you resurrect to those? They must have a high spirit cost.
I think they're a 99 cost. So
oh, you could do
I think
quite a few. Yeah,
I think you can get out like 6 or 7 of them.
that's a lot. So I'll have the bets jamming, 7 Triceratops. I'll make it work one day. Right? I mean, I just got a Rakiata's flow, dude. I am richer than I have ever been before. And before we, so I'm really curious, Bella, because you play builds to their max. You optimize things, right? I've never been this wealthy, dude. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna sell the Rakiata's flow for like 22 divine orbs. How do I not trap myself and buy bad gear? Because I think I'm gonna go shopping. I just don't want to screw it up and waste all my currency. Do you have any tips for people who might find themselves?
The first thing to focus on if you're going to spend a lot of money for the first time is to make sure the things you're buying are resellable. Something that isn't niche to your exact and only your exact build.
Okay.
Because if you're buying something that's 10 div and you've only got 20 total and it's the richest you've ever been, you don't want to be done with that and then be like, oh, I can't get rid of this again. Like, I'm going to have to resell this for like a div and I'm not going to get anything back. That's terrible. You want to, so purchasing big items, focus on things that might have use outside of your build, or if you're playing the most meta thing, then it won't matter because it will be resellable. But stuff that crosses over.
That's smart.
Or craft yourself, because crafting is actually great.
I have a lot of currency built up too, because I haven't sold anything really, and I haven't gone on any crazy crafting sprees. So I've got a ton of perfects. I have a bunch of essences. I have omens, man. It's been feeling really good. How would you compare the state of crafting to the state of gambling in 0.2 and before?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't. They introduced crafting this league. Right. It just wasn't.
I'm getting close.
But the stuff that existed before wasn't crafting. There was no crafting.
We just got this.
Yeah.
This is the patch where crafting got introduced. That's what this is.
So I'm curious from your perspective. I was debating this a little bit with chat earlier. I think it's in a great spot. I've seen some people say that it's too powerful. Do you think that they're gonna bring it down substantially? Are we gonna see a harvest level apocalypse for crafting, or do you think it's gonna stay pretty much in its current?
Here, I know what's gonna happen with this. They're gonna nerf it a little bit. They're not gonna nerf it a lot, but it's gonna be next league, and it's gonna be on the Atlas It's going to be its own thing. You're going to have to farm it if you want to get the omens. You know, you're going to have to get the tablets for it. You're going to have to yada yada spec into it. It's not going to be on every map, so it's going to be at an opportunity cost. You know, if you do this, then you're not doing breach, which right now you can do breach and still you have your abyss that you're always going to have. So there's going to be a lot less of them. They're going to be probably more expensive, and you're going to have less access to them unless you spec into that. But the good side is, if you do go into it, they're probably going to sell really well.
State come 04 in the future, because I really like it.
But the other thing about it is they're probably going to add another crafting mechanic as well on top of that. That's going to be in every map like this. So this is going to be less rare, more rare, slightly nerfed, but then there's going to be something else that's ubiquitous that everybody's doing.
I don't know is the real answer.
Okay.
Because I actually think I like it. Here's my concern. My concern, I've been hearing a lot of the same complaints you have, which is like, oh, it's like harvest level, I can print a mirror tier item thing. And they're correct. With enough money, you can absolutely just print out 6 tier 1 in the exact things that you've chosen. And I get that maybe that's too strong in the high end. But this is where I come from on that, is 99.5% of people will never own that item anyway, would never be able to afford to craft it. And the people who are making mirror tier things now with this system much easier were already making the Blast League anyway. They can do, those people will do it with nothing.
That's
if the only thing you have to do is spam annuls and exalts, they'll just spend thousands and thousands and thousands of them until they get the correct item they want. Those people make that shit anyway. For me, the important bit is I never make items like that. I've never made a mirror tier item in my life. Right. Not that I can't, it's that I don't want to. That's a lot of bullshit. What I like is that I can make decent items myself. And right now we can. Whoa. They've closed that gap. I could craft items in solo self-found. Will they all be perfect tier 1s? No, but I'll be able to get at least 4 mods that are the exact ones I wanted, and 2 useful ones, all in the top 2 or 3 tiers. I'll be able to make that really easy, even in solo self-found.
Exactly.
Which gives me, at a mid-level of crafting, the ability to make my own upgrades. And I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So I personally don't really care what the mirror crafters are doing. I don't care if they can or can't make their mirror items. It doesn't affect me, and it doesn't affect you, and it doesn't affect anybody that's playing the game. We're not in that market. There's like 300 people total in that market, and you're probably not one of them. So stop getting upset about what they can do and focus on what we can do, which we've got access to crafting now, and I love that, and I don't want to lose it.
Totally agree with you, and it's why I'm pushing back against some people, some of the best crafters in the game, but who may also be content creators, right? Like one of my friends, Dead Rabbit, he spends hundreds and hundreds of divines, multiple mirrors crafting, and he's expressed that crafting is too easy now. And I'm saying exactly what you're saying.
I've been watching Dead Rabbit's crafting videos as well. I love that guy's content. Yeah, it's actually really good.
It is.
Watching it is half of what taught me how to craft my items. Even because I'm not going for the extreme, but if I watch somebody front to back craft the extreme perfect item, then I can know how to make myself a settler item where I'm okay with it not being perfect, and I can do that way cheaper.
I gotta watch that guy's videos.
But he is one of those people. He is one of those 300 or 400 people that were already last league printing mirror items. He's got videos from last league.
Oh, sure.
He did it anyway.
Yep.
Like, oh no, he can still do it now? Of course he can.
Right.
But now I can craft, and I couldn't. Last league, there was no crafting for me. There was nothing. True. I did not have crafting. What was crafting? Picking up every base and just going transmute, augment, real, nut that shit, throw it back on the ground. That was it. That was it.
I think you may have said it. Maybe I'm wrong, but identifying with extra steps is kind of what it was. I don't remember if you coined that or not. I seem to remember you saying that, but it's so true. And it does not
Wisdom
feel that
scroll
way.
crafting is what I call it.
Scroll craft.
It's wisdom scroll
Wisdom
crafting.
scroll crafting. There you go. It feels so much better, and I'm with you. I hope they keep it very similar to this, and don't revert all these changes. And we're seeing W spammed in the chat. Well said, sirs. Everybody is in quite agreement with you. So, BGG, if you're listening to this, please consider us. Don't consider the top 300. Come on, you're right. They will craft the same exact items, just over a longer period of time with more currency.
The difference is now they craft that item in 100 div, but they used to spend 1,000 div to do it. Okay, but those people were going to make 1,000 div regardless. They're coming to make. Now they made 10 items to mirror. Who cares? I want to craft. I want to craft.
Me too. Me too. I like it. I like being able to do it. It's so enjoyable. And I think another thing of this patch that, from my perspective, is better, but I'm really curious to hear yours, is, and people might scoff at this, okay, but build viability. Keyword there, viability, okay? Diversity, might be a little rough, but I know that when I reached out to you about a month ago asking, what is Path of Exile 2's biggest problem right now? What should it solve? You went on a soliloquy, which I much appreciated. You memed on a little bit of my video, essentially saying, you need more customization options. This is a Path of Exile game. I expect to be able to do more with my coins than what is available right now, and I can't. Would you say they succeeded or moved in the right direction in this patch, and why do you think that is?
No. No, I would not. Do I think there are more viable builds? But like level of viability, I guess, yes, but it depends on which way you look at it. Because while Deadeye itself didn't really receive any buffs, the game did get buffed in like 17 different ways that all happened to work with Deadeye. So now it is everybody comparing themselves to Deadeye. And so I just want to throw out, obviously we need to nerf crap out of that. It's so far above everybody else. It's so far above everybody else that every build looks garbage if you just look at it next to a Deadeye. Which is why, like, it was 60% of the player base on like day 3, and it's still like 40 or 45% right now.
It's insane.
It is crazy that even made it in, because we were all collectively calling, oh, if you don't make a Deadeye, you're basically trolling, before the league even started. So I don't know how that balance made it in. But if we ignore that, there are a lot more viable builds, but that's just because they number tweaked things and gave me more viable builds by just buffing more of the things they already planned for us to use.
It's not true. They did some changes. They added sprint. They severely changed sorcerer, although nobody uses sorcerer anymore. Apparently sorcerer can be really cool, but you need to be rich to make a build with it.
I don't think I have any more ability to be creative. I just have the ability to see the tools that they put together and exactly the puzzle pieces they gave me that only fit with their own puzzle. And I have 2 examples of this because my first 2 rerolls didn't work because they're functionally stopped from working, because that wasn't originally the design. So the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to reroll a tactician using the node that says, I think it's watch what I do or something. It gives your allies in your presence a percentage of your weapon. And I was going to run a double companion build, but the companion node says you can't have 2 of the same companion. You can have 2 companions, but not the same one. So I thought that meant I just wouldn't be able to like pick the up button like a minion build where you just go from 1 to 2. Right? I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to get a second gem. I'm gonna have to go out and find a second mob. We're gonna have to have 2 6 links, and that's just how that's gonna work, right? It turns out no, you can't use the same mob type at all. So even if you go out and get 2 cocaine ants that are different, that have different auras, you put that node on and do that, you come back, you can't summon them back. They're blocked off. So I was going to make a full companion build that used 2 companions and myself with a spear, all the companion nodes also have damage to you as well. So it was going to be a proper sphere hybrid minion build where there would be basically 3 entities doing good damage, and I am only one of them. And so it would be very melee, very up in your face, very I am part of this fight, and I just have 2 buddies with me.
I love it.
Doesn't work. Gone. Just ruled out because of an arbitrary restriction of that node. It just doesn't let you. I want to change that node to say +1 companion instead of you can have 2 companions, and then not have that limit of making them different. Like, I'm still happy to go pick up 2 gems and pick 2 different mobs, but like, I can't really build around 2 different styles of minions. Like, I can't have 1 spark guy and 1 cocaine ant. That doesn't work. There's also a chest that has the same node that my original plan was like, maybe I can have 3 companions, but it's the same wording on the chest. You can have 2 companions rather than you can have +1. Remember that an extra companion would still cost an absolute buttload of spirit, and it's percentage based spirit too. So it's not like letting me stack these would suddenly let me have like an infinitely powerful build. It wouldn't. I would have to invest heavily in spirit reservation. I would have to not invest in spirit, so it didn't use so that the percentage, there's no point in me investing in spirit. I'd have to invest in reservation a lot to fit 3 of them in, and it would use all my spirit, and I would have no auras left. But I could have 3 companions that way. But it doesn't work. So I had to abandon that idea. I'm very excited about that. The next one I wanted to do was the new rocket boots. That you have like a cannon leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of the damage supports up the damage on those.
Oh.
They socket in, the damage doesn't change. You can't build around the rocket boots.
Bug? Maybe?
I don't know.
Hopefully?
I think that no, I don't think so, because the supports that work in that are just like AoE and cooldown and stuff. And I think the only job of those rocket boots is that they're supposed to blow up grenades, because that's what they designed. So even though they have a damage component, I can't support it with damage stuff because that's not what GGG designed. It's the same problem of they give you a set of tools that work together and only work together. And I'm not allowed to be creative outside of that. That is still the #1 problem. It's still the thing I'm going to complain about the most.
So they got to open it up a little bit more, because I think the line was, you said, like, I've seen 1 or 2 builds that I think GGG, smart people at GGG didn't design, hadn't thought of beforehand. And
side note, those got nerfed. They stopped those interactions.
Oh no!
See, not like they nerfed. They stopped those interactions from working. Okay. So they're like actively working against innovation in the community, which is fucking weird and not what GGG normally does.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that. Why do you think that is? Because where my mind immediately goes is, I'm going to be the GGG shill here, or the devil's advocate to you. They're trying to design the baseline level of the game, get all the crap in as balanced as possible, right? And then once everything is in, like the passive tree has its initial real foundation, then they're going to let all the crazy crap just unfold. But until then, they're going to be like, okay, we kind of want predetermined paths. We don't want to let people go too crazy while we get the foundations go on, even if that's going to take 2 years. And then we'll start opening up the floodgates. I don't know. That's my explanation. What do you think it is?
Sure, but like at the same time, they've designed a Deadeye and a Rower with 170% movement speed that one-shots everything in the game. So maybe if I don't want to play the meta thing, maybe just let me have fun.
Right.
Like, maybe just let me make some shit up.
It is crazy that it's still in that state, dude. Like, for the first time, I hadn't watched like anybody stream really or any highlight videos. I looked at someone's lightning arrow Deadeye, and I turned it off after like 20 seconds. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not expose myself to this,
I've done it. I opened up Fubgun's stream and watched 1/3 of a map and then went, I can't watch this or I'm going to feel real bad about everything I've been doing. I'm like, I need to close this off. I need to stop, put the blinders back on. Right. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to play other builds and enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. My dad was roasting my Hollow Palm Monk because he is playing Flubgun's Deadeye. And he's just on the Roa, just, you know, freaking one bowstring back, blowing up everything. He's like, bro, you're fisting that thing like 10 times and it's still not dead. What an absolute joke of a build you have. And I felt so good about it. But it is wild that it's in that state. So, and it's going to be that way until December. And then even then, so what I'm also curious about, everybody was saying Deadeye is busted. Like you said a few minutes ago, if you're not going Deadeye, you're absolutely cooking yourself. An absolute joke. You know, you're making a fool of yourself. GGG usually will be like, oh, you know what? Actually, that has some truth to it. You know, maybe we'll do some touches here. That didn't happen. It is kind of curious that people predicted this would be giga powerful and it ended up being powerful. Do you think it's going to get nerfed, or are they just fine with Deadeye fulfilling this sort of fantasy alongside the Roa mount?
1 second. I was just gonna plug this in because my headset's gone dead. There we go.
Oh, all set. I was just talking crap about you.
No, I heard it all.
Oh, you heard it all. Oh,
dang.
It was some A-level shit talking, Balor. So just.
Oh, we'll see. Look. Realistically, I don't know why that made it through. I make jokes on stream that it's Mark's fault, but I am not serious when I make those jokes.
Yeah.
Right? The joke there is that Mark always likes to play support. Who do you think he's supporting? He's supporting Deadeyes. So Deadeyes are going to be god tier because whoever's mate who's playing his carry is going to be a Deadeye. But that's when I do that on stream, it's been clipped and linked to people. And when I do that it's part of the joke. All right. Like it's
real.
I don't actually think he's intentionally keeping Deadeye in an overly buffed state because his carry mate is playing a Deadeye. Okay. That's not a real thing. I just have to throw that out because it's a funny joke to make in the middle of a stream, but it gets clipped and then shown around as it's my real opinion, and it isn't. It's just a bit, all right? It's just funny. It's not really what's happening, but I don't have an explanation though, because I don't even mind if that's the level of power we're supposed to have, but if we are, the rest of us are cooked and need 18 million buffs, or we need to slow that all the way down. I don't understand.
No, it's valid. It's valid. Like you said, I try not to get jealous. What is it? Is it envy is the fear, the enemy of happiness, of joy? Envy is the enemy of joy, right? Yeah, 100%. Because if I see that crazy level of power with minimal investment, it makes me feel bad, so I just don't watch it. So, but you're right.
Yeah. Comparison
is the thief of joy. There it is. Thank you. I can't quote anything. It's too late for me. Morning for you. It's 9:24 for me.
And envy is bad for happiness.
We don't know what
GGG's
doing with
something like that.
Do you think GGG know what they're doing with the support gem change? Because I had a little birdie tell me that you are actually a fan of the single support gem across your entire build. Obviously, they reverted that. How do you think that's played out so far? Was the birdie wrong, or what?
No, I was a fan of the idea of limiting my support gems to 1 per. In general, I thought that led to way more interesting builds. But what would actually happen in game is... okay. Alright, so we've got to go back to the beginning for why I liked that and thought it was a good idea. Because it ended up not being a good idea. And I like it more this way. But it should have been a good idea. They just buckled. And they didn't do what they said they were going to do. So we have to go back to the beginning. We were originally sold the support gem system as almost entirely utility. There weren't going to be damage buffs. The difference in damage between a 3-link and a 6-link wasn't going to exist. Raw damage was going to be the same. You would be getting a lot more utility out of your skill via extra links. They would not come with damage. And with that in mind, limiting support gems to 1 per your entire class will lead to very interesting, very varied builds, because you get to decide what utility goes with what skill, but you still get to use multiple skills because they don't come with damage. At some point during development, they completely folded that and added a bunch of damage multipliers. And as soon as you add the damage multipliers, if there isn't so many roughly equally powered damage multipliers that you can put them with every single skill on your entire tree, then it becomes back to the PoE 1 of, well, you better invest all your best things into one ability because that's all of the support that you get, and then you can't use other ones because you're running out of damage supports for them. So I did really like the idea when it was part of the full idea of not having damage support, only utility, and balancing the game around that, and the extra utility from Lynx being really good. Loved it then. Once they've folded and added damage supports, it no longer suits that.
True.
It just doesn't suit anymore. If you want me to use multiple abilities, if you want me to use combos, if you want me to have a clear skill and a single target skill, I need to be able to put my damage supports with both. Otherwise I can't.
Yeah. No, thank you for the history lesson. I clearly remember that presentation from ExileCon 2023. Yeah, I remember them breaking that down, seeing the initial reveals, and a lot of them were their utility, but once we actually got into the game, obviously that was not the case at all. And yet, I think this is, if they're going to go with that, lots of supports having damage multipliers, this is the way. And then maybe they can try to accomplish all that wacky stuff with the lineage support gems, which have been added to the game. Obviously, there's about 40 of them. Unfortunately, I've only seen widespread use of a couple. Do you think those were a bit of a dud being added to the game? Or maybe it's one of those future-proofing things, like, oh, in the future, like that unique that was added way back when, it's actually going to have utility in 0.6.
Well, it kind of goes back to the other problem. There are several lineage supports that I want to use in my minion build that are arbitrarily restricted from being linked to them. They just don't work.
Break the shackles.
I'm not using them because they don't go in, even though they should.
They're just scared of your full power, bro. Like, you're like chained up, and if they unchained Valor Mage, the build would just be too ridiculous, man. I need to shackle you a little bit.
The biggest one is I forget its name, the Wild Shard one. There's a Wild Shard lineage one that's like better than Wild Shards. That's really cool. I got 2 minions who are using Wild Shards. You can't socket that lineage gem in. It's literally Wild Shards plus, and it just doesn't go in.
Sion's Temper. Sion's Temper.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. They're just arbitrarily restricted to not work with certain things, and it's still going to remain my #1 problem until they stop restricting things. Is why have we just got this arbitrary restriction of you just not? Basically, let me do bad ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. I have bad ideas that are fun, and you're stopping me from doing bad ideas that are fun. I honestly, both of my build ideas weren't going to be real good. I wasn't going to be bringing out S-tier builds, but it was going to be fun and different. But really? No, they've just ticked the don't do that button, and I just don't get to.
Yeah, I understand the restrictions with, you can't use a quarterstaff skill with a mace because, animations, and it's just a little change. But something like this, where it's just changing the mechanics of a skill gem, be a more powerful version, like the Wild Shards and Sion's Temper example, that's shocking that doesn't work. I hope it's just a matter of, like, they added these late, they have to be further refined, and in 0.4 or a future incoming patch, that's fixed or changed. Somebody's comparing you to the prisoner boss. You're just shackled deep below, underneath the ocean. Just trying to...
Hold on, there's another one. I'll give you another example of new things that don't work for me that should. Okay, my Spark minions. When you go to their skill, it's a full description of Spark. It works exactly how you expect it to. It even has the line, infuse with cold. We'll use a cold infusion to make cold Spark that'll cast in a Nova. I forget the exact words, but it's all right there. There's a support gem that you can use on a infusion generating ability that will stop you from gaining the infusion and will give it to all your nearby allies instead. That support gem works, and it stops me from getting the infusion. And it gives the infusion to all my allies nearby, and then they just don't use it. They just continue to cast Spark like normal, and that would have changed my entire build. I would have been changing my entire build to try and generate as many infusions as possible and try and share them with my allies, which would have been super interesting. I would have used their new infusion tech. I would have been running combo skills just like they wanted, but it just doesn't work. Just again, we just tick the button that says up. Mechanically, we're not going to let that happen. Don't do that. Stop stopping me.
Sounds a little busted, Balor. 11 mages with infusions. I mean, they're a little stingy with one mage having infusions and like the sorceress. So, like, could be screen shattering. Yeah, I think that's another good example. Man, I sound like a freaking white knight, but I'm just hoping that I'm right and that they're going to allow all this crazy bad build stuff to happen. Because in PoE 1, I feel like the floodgates are open there. You're allowed to just make as many bad builds as you want. There's just so many wacky interactions that just work. So I know that they want, especially the early game, to kind of be on the rails. But once you progress to a certain degree and you're using all these various disparate facets together, you should just be able to knock them together, and they should work, even if it's terrible. I really hope that comes into the game, dude. For your sake, but my brother's the same way, honestly. He's trying to make a monk cast on, sorry, not a monk, a ritualist cast on crit comet hollow palm build work. And dude, it's so bad. Like, I don't know if my brother's listening right now. It's so bad, my man. He's getting like 2 comets or something to fall from the sky, and he's like, yes, but he's doing all this work to try to make it happen, and there's all these roadblocks in the way. Like, he's tried all these different classes, and he gets so disappointed when something doesn't work, even though it just makes sense logically, or even mechanically. When he puts it into practice and out of POV, he just gets so dejected, and he may have lost all his currency and gold trying this out, so it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
So I really feel you, man.
And everything shouldn't succeed. But I want when you try it, I want it to mechanically work because it should logically work. And I want the failure to just be like, in this instance, if that's not to work, it should be that you've had to invest so much in crit and melee stuff, and you've got to use this hollow palm stuff, and you just don't have enough room left in your gear to make the comet do enough damage or get plus levels and whatnot. So you should be running that, like, the failure of that sort of build should be, well, I'm running around spawning a bunch of comets on crit, but they don't do any damage. They're just real weak comets everywhere.
They look really pretty,
but it still work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's the whole thing. So just allowing people to fail like that, I think, is super important. So hopefully that happens in the future. And I know, guys, we have not been glazing grinding gear games this podcast, but it's because we've been playing so much Path of Exile 2, right? We've been so hopelessly addicted. We're just noticing all these little things that we wish would change in the game.
I mean,
right?
to be fair, I'm glazing them quite a bit, other than this one thing of them limiting creativity.
Right.
That's the only complaint that I really have, is stop limiting creativity.
The rest of it,
everything else, great.
Yeah, everything else is great, guys. So, you know, I guess maybe just to do some like